Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to my channel again. I'm TGS, and tonight is Friday the 13th, just as I promised last night with that short teaser showing you a bunch of things on my bookshelf. I'm doing this double feature video tonight, even though I came late after work. I'm super tired. My tongue does not process fully what my brain is thinking. And that's no excuses. You can be drained physically, you can be drained mentally. I'm a little bit of both today, so sorry if that video is not up to the quality you might be expecting. But I already did, and I'm trying to upload it. I'm in the middle of editing right now. We're gonna be uploading on the other channel, the other one, the classical video game one, a video where my alter ego, the proper Englishman, will be trying to tackle the notorious NES game Friday the 13th. And on the other hand, I have this short review that I want to make of a Neca figure that I purchased like early on in COVID, like in the early part of COVID, back in 2021, I think. Friday the 13th, the final chapter, Jason Voorhees NECA figure. And I'm going to be doing this short review. I'm not too big into collecting figures, even though I think they're really neat. It's kind of a niche hobby, and it's kind of the more expensive side versus what I'm doing. And I know what you're going to think, like especially if you don't know me. What about these ones, like right behind you? Weren't those pricey? Well, I don't know. Like, yeah, I didn't pay them right away. I used some credit card. I used a credit card. I was paying them by the month, like 1 year each. I'm crazy. And most of my video game collection, it's didn't just materialize out of nowhere in a month. No, I've been collecting since 2013. Most of the time, I would be just buying games that I was sure I just wanted to play, even like that nowadays, like after all these years, after all these decades. And for the most part, there were games that I would be finding like in pretty sweet deals. So yeah, so collecting of figures is not kind of a thing that I'm too knowledgeable about, but I have figured out that Neca is the friend to our kind of budget choice collectors. And I'm gonna be reviewing this one. It's the very first time I'm doing this, so I've been thinking maybe I should like divide this into categories. And the first one I'm gonna be talking about is presentation of the box, because that's the first thing you see, right? So presentation of the box. Here we have it. Friday the 13th, the final chapter. It looks glossy. It looks awesome. Has this poster image of what you would probably see on a VHS tape. It's exactly that. I remember that as a kid because I used to watch these things. Maybe that's why I'm so messed up, right? No, seriously, like this series is like so ridiculous, so over the top. You end up rooting for the bad guy by the end because it's so ridiculous. Like, it's basically a maniac in a hockey mask dismantling a bunch of horny teenagers. And it's exactly how I'm describing it right now. It's ridiculous. It's so fun. It's so like guilty pleasure fun. And on the back, we have pretty much a bunch of images and a description of what happens in the movie. So that pretty much reminds me of VHS tapes, the way we would pick the box and look on the back what kind of pictures there were there. That's the only guide we had if the movie was supposed to be any good or what. And look at that. Also on the side, Friday the 13th, the final chapter by Neca, real toys, get that? And it's like it shows like a reel. Wow. The other side is just the same, and on top, Friday the 13th, the final chapter. And it also has a flop over here, so you can basically see what's inside, what you're supposed to be given. And there's plenty. I'm going to be talking about that. And you can see like an amazing still of Jason Voorhees. Here, he's supposed to be in his confines. He's not here anymore, obviously, because... And now I'll pause for a moment. So now that I obviously brought the figure right next to me, just so I'll be able to show it right after uh, this. The box, so in general, looks pretty nice. It's pretty big. It's hefty, but I think it's also a missed opportunity. And I'll sound like a little nitpicky right now, but this could have been a box that resembles a VHS tape box. You know, it's a missed opportunity because we're talking about a horror icon back in the age of VHS, and even the back tries to emulate that. Even the back with the plot of the movie, with the still images, supposedly. It looks exactly what you would see on the back of a VHS tape, and I think that's a great missed opportunity for Neca to do something like that. Maybe the box would flip like that, and you could slide the part where Jason is confined. So yeah, a missed opportunity for me. A really nice box. So I'll give it like a 7 out of 10 for that missed opportunity. Other than that, like for what we get, especially for what we pay, and we'll get to that because it's also like a part where which I get to also rate. So this is the box, and for me, like it gets a 7 out of 10. And then we go to the figure, and we're gonna judge it first in terms of fidelity with the source material. And I don't know if I'll try also to get like the camera a little closer to get some extra footage for you showing like close-ups of the actual figure. In terms of fidelity with the source material, Jason looks pretty convincing. Like he's exactly like in the movie. He was wearing the same clothes. He's hunching a little bit. He's like kind of a little bit like a hunchback. His head on the back looks the same. The mask is there, the hockey mask. And we're going to be talking about the hockey mask more. Same colors like as in the movie, as in the fourth movie. Yeah, like he looks pretty neat. And, because also the accessories come into this. We also get his iconic machete in this. You also get a corkscrew, which is comes from that iconic scene where Jason Voorhees actually kills off Crispin Glover's character in the movie. Yeah, Crispin Glover, the guy that went on to become George McFly, that guy. But went on to become, really? I think that could have been like even before that, before this movie came out. Anyways, yeah. And you also get like an axe that I don't have anymore because I lost it somewhere in between moving here. But yeah, those are stuff that happens, obviously. So, and there's also this tombstone that comes with, which is like Pamela Voorhees' tombstone, and you only see that once in the movie. Also, the corkscrew and the saw that he's holding right here. But that goes to show that whoever made this figure and whoever packaged it and decided what the figure should come with in the package knew full well of the source material. So that's, for me, it's like a hell of a yes. Like this is totally respects this the source material, pretty faithful to what we got in the movie. For me, a solid 9 out of 10. So let's go for the details now. So we got a 7 on the box and a full 9 on the fidelity towards the source material. Let's talk about detail now, because this is one of the most important things. So now I'll be also trying to show like close-ups. You might be looking at close-ups of Jason. What I really enjoy about this is that you also get to see underneath the mask. Obviously, you get to remove the mask. For me, when I got this, I thought, they had no reason to include that feature. I mean, you mostly see Jason with his mask on, like for the most part of the movie. There are some short instances that you see him, and especially in this fourth movie, towards the end, you get to see a lot of his face. But I didn't really think when I got this figure that they would be actually having so much detail underneath the mask. And oh my God, we're talking about some insane detail. You can see Tom Savini's work literally shine underneath the mask. It's also part of the material that's been used. I'm certain of it because I'm pretty sure on this part they use something like vinyl, probably. Because like the detail is superb. Like, oh my god, I can't even describe it with words. Maximize that, bring that like 4 times bigger. It looks almost looks like something you would see, a practical effect that you would see in the movie. It's that good. And the details don't even stop there. You go to his clothing, and part that I really, really enjoy on this figure also is his shirt, because there's lots of detail there as well. The shirt looks wrinkly, looks something that's been worn for quite a while. It even has a little bit of stamps, from blood of his victims. It looks weathered, looks wrinkly, like I said, and it looks wet. It emulates the wetness from the movie because obviously there's rain in the movie. And then even his hands are quite detailed. I also love the paint job because it's not just about details, about how you paint things. I like the paint job on his hands because they actually show how black his nails were, exactly like in the movie. And there is only a small part that kind of annoys me now that I'm talking about paint job, is how underneath his sleeves you can actually see the paint of the hands kind of bleed on the underneath of the sleeves on the shirt. But that's kind of nitpicky from me. Coming from me, it's kind of nitpicky. So there you go from there underneath, like on the pants. And this is like the low point for me because it doesn't feel as nice as the upper part. It feels more plasticky. It feels mostly the paint job that's doing the actual job, the trick. Um, Already some of the paint has worn off around the area of the knees, so it's the job is not as high quality there as on the upper parts. Also, his shoes look quite good. I should add that. But yeah, it's pretty good detailed for what we get, for what we pay for. And again, I'll get to that because that's also a big part. But yeah, I think they kind of dropped the ball a little bit on the pants area, underneath the waist. But yeah, the the figure overall looks very, very detailed. I can't stress that enough. Especially the head. Especially the head. It looks amazingly scary. So after that, we can move on to the actual accessories. And what you get is, and I'll have to open this up. You get a kitchen knife. You get a meat cleaver. Let me just make sure to take this out so that you can see those. We get the meat cleaver. There it is. I'll try to show it. Like, those are small parts. Yeah, like, I don't know if I can make them justice just by showing them like that, but I think they're pretty nicely done. The paint job is kind of, all over the top, like especially the splashing of the blood, but it does the thing. The handles have the right coloring. They look pretty neat, if you ask me. And of course, you have the corkscrew. Hey, where's the corkscrew? And then Jason is gentleman enough to give him the corkscrew and the meat cleaver in the face. So, yeah, we also get an extra hand for Jason so that he could hold the axe that I actually lost while moving here. And we also have the weathered but yet very iconic machete. Look at that. You don't even know if that's rust or blood or both, or rust because of the blood. So, yeah, a pretty neat set of accessories. And what I really, oh my god, I messed this up. What I really enjoy even more about this is that you actually get an extra head for Jason, which actually shows what happens to Jason after Tommy Jarvis hits him on the side of his head with his own machete. Look at that. That's that's a pretty grim thing to look at. And the second mask, one is more weathered than the other. One is supposed to be the one you see Jason using. But basically, it's the same mask, but one of them is supposed to emulate what Jason is having, like in the early parts in the movie, and what the mask becomes of becomes like later on in the movie. So yeah, you will also get that. Let me gather my mayhem right here. And last but not least, and the one that kind of creeps me out the most for some reason, even though the rest are weapons with which he actually kills people in the movie, this one creeps me out the most. This is Pamela Voorhees' Mrs. Pamela Voorhees' tombstone. So why did they feel the need to have this in there? I have no freaking idea, but it appears in one scene in the movie. And like I said before, this actually amazes me. The people behind this figure obviously watched the movie, or at least known the movie inside out. They included stuff that I don't know if you're supposed to have these and that as an accessory, but props for including that, as like it exists one scene in the movie. Just as this thing that he's actually holding, because this is for hardcore fans. This actually is used by Jason in the morgue. For me, one of his most gruesome kills in the franchise. So including that, like, speaks in lengths on how these people actually love the series, and at least if they didn't, which I highly doubt it, at least they knew their shit inside out. They had done their homework. So as far as the accessories go, I'll have to hand over another 9 on this one. And last but not least, let's talk about the price. Now, when I got this, and again, I got it, I think in 2021, it was like early COVID thing, quarantine. I was working, I was preparing packages like for internet orders and stuff. And I remember ordering that, and I had to go on to the courier offices myself and get it. I remember paying like 34, probably 34 something euros, along with what you would pay as a fee for this to be transferred to you. So I'm guessing the real price was somewhere around 32 to 33 euros, which roughly translates the same amount, the same kind of money, probably, in terms of US dollars. In my mind, this is pretty cheap. This is like a budget choice for someone that wants to have something cool, that loves this kind of shit, and wants to have something cool on his bookshelf. This works really, really well. The detail is there. Like, if somebody approached it like from a fair distance and looked like, especially the upper part, is very, very detailed. I'm amazed with what they've done with this. And Neca isn't just a company that did it, with just this one. It has like a bunch of horror icons. The detail is there like in pretty much every other figure that I've seen. In terms of what you pay, again, the quality is there. We're talking like some really, really nice figures. If you're not, the big collector, collecting, because I also like monster movies. If you don't want like to collect SH monster arts, but you're fine with NECA, you're just gonna be fine with some Godzilla figures from NECA. And that's what I'm saying. So yeah, props for NECA for giving us that. And I have to be fair, and I have to give them a solid 9 out of 10 there as well. So 9 for the price, 8 for the details, 9 for the fidelity towards the source material. Again, another 9 for the details. Oh my God, the accessories. And as far as the box goes and the presentation, we'll give them a 7. It gets an overall 8.4. Yeah, I used a calculator for that. But Again, I think that was a solid attempt at creating something that's, it's obviously a horror icon. It's supposed to be a horror icon. Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, the final chapter. They've done their homework. They definitely knew their shit. And they gave us something really solid that, fortunately, you don't have to pay your liver to get something like that. Again, I'm not so big in these. I don't actually collect them. I have a couple more figures, Godzilla ones, but I've said before, and I'll say it again now. I might go to that. This guy might need some, some pal next to him so that he won't be so lonely. Maybe one that would call him bitch from time to time. So if you know exactly what I'm talking about, you probably understood what what I'm gonna attempt to find next. So yeah, guys, that was my review on the Friday the 13th Jason Voorhees, the final chapter figure. Tell me what you thought down there in the comments. Also, I will leave the link to the video where the proper Englishman tries to tackle the Friday the 13th game on NES on the other channel. Again, if you liked what you've seen, press like, subscribe, helps the channel grow. Feel free to leave any suggestions down there so that I could make more horror-related content or whatever, or anime or whatever you like. We'll figure this out. So, again, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys. Bye.